sequence activated.
All right, Houston. Oh, sweet. Ready for launch? All right, Houston, ready for the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Prepare for light speed.
Star. We are going to launch for the VIRUN at the end of the
Checking oxygen reading. Checking oxygen reading. Gravity, gravity. Unimaginable. The unimaginable. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. There's a SpaceX astronauts in the space station.
It says
I'm just wishing to any entities that are listening, please bless this launch. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really real.
4,300 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, it's nice out here. You guys want a beer?
Yeah, Modelo. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
That's
all right.
nice.
Oh, good.
Sure.
Nice Modelo.
Hey.
Good beer to have while shooting through galaxies.
Why not Russian beer?
Why no? Why
What
no?
if you're
cup
from
holders?
Mother Russia?
That's what I want to know.
This not good. I like Russian beer.
There you go, engineer.
Is good, no? Is it vodka?
Modelo.
No, Modelo, yeah.
I'm the first person to drink Modelo.
That's the first Mexican beer besides Corona that made it to Mars.
We'll start with on Mars.
Who brought the corona?
Who brought the
though?
COVID?
Who brought the corona though?
We're gonna get Modelo virus next year.
Oh,
This is the antibodies.
I think Modella planted that
Must
name.
patent
I think
antivirus.
so.
Yeah.
All right, what's that, Houston?
Docking sequence activated.
We're about to reach atmosphere, Mars atmosphere. You guys ready? Okay. All right.
There's more?
Are you kicking in?
Hold on.
Here we go. Next time you hold these seats down.
Anti-inflammatory.
Full
Nexus.
spectrum cannabinoids with tetrahydrocurcumin.
This will help my joints.
Landing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Activates cell retrograding, which signals the body's repairability to get into the inflammation centers.
Product placement.
Omega-3, DHA.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
Guys, suit up. Let's go to Mars. We're here. Our magical aura technology allows us to take our space helmets off and breathe in Mars atmosphere. See it. See the aura. Very good technology that Vladimir created, our Russian scientist that's on board our spaceship.
Very good. Oh, this is good. Yeah, I make spaceship very strong like Russian. You like?
Yeah, with no bolts.
Yeah, it was great.
No, we fix. Don't worry.
Yeah, luckily, if it wasn't for Nexus, my hip would hurt, but now it doesn't.
Good.
Oh, anti-inflammatory, full-spectrum
Anti-inflammatory.
cannabinoids with omega-3s, boswellia, and curcuminoids. Very
Who's that?
smart of you to
Very
bring
effective.
that to this atmosphere.
over here, Peter.
And that's D3K2 vitamin A ubiquinol. Wow, and both MK7 and MK4 versions mycelated with liposomes. Incredible stuff to bring to
I was talking about the
the
alien.
Martians.
It's
The
amazing.
alien too.
We left Bubble Bobby here, probably about 3 months ago.
Wow. Still holding up well.
He's doing great. Look at him.
Bubble Bobby.
And
Bubble
we
Bobby.
found a baby Martian here on Mars, and he's been taking care of it. And now it's doing much better, functioning better.
Yeah.
Wow. With vitamin K2.
And strong
and
immune
CoQ10.
system.
Yep.
Make strong.
Should we be in a bubble? Like him?
No, because we have our Aura technology, which is new, and we're going to give it to Bubble Bobby so he doesn't have to live in a bubble anymore. Well, that'd be nice. We can. He can come out.
Big bubble, no trouble.
Coming out. You got something to
Big
look
bubble, no
forward to.
trouble. Yep. That's right.
Wow.
So now that we're here on Mars, we're looking down at Earth.
And we can tell it's not a sphere.
It's a circle, though.
Yeah, no, that's
No,
all
that's flat.
CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no actual real footage of
No.
Earth.
That's the Coriolis effect that projects it to where it looks like, rounder.
The
So what are we
Coriolis
looking at?
effect is the measurement of Earth's rotation.
No flat Earth, flat Earth, flat head. Stupid. When you blow bubble, go to circle, not flat. Makes instant bubble.
All right,
Round,
person
big
that just
round,
believes
not
whatever
round
you're told.
planet,
I
round
think
Earth,
that's the
round
vodka
sun.
talking right now.
Yeah.
You don't have
We know
flat.
that we're in a geocentric
What do
reality.
you know? You don't even bolt seats down in a
flat
spaceship.
head,
The
smack
Jesuit
head.
Copernicus model has been
Flat
outdated.
Earth, not science. Stupid. Flat head. Flat head, flat Earth. Not possible.
I never thought water could bend. Apparently it can. Defies all physics.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is we're away from Earth and all the chaos, and we're here on Mars. We're safe. And we're here so we can collectively talk about immunity.
Yes.
So let's talk about immunity. Let's talk about all the health benefits of vitamin A, D, E, K, and all the things that help us keep us strong, safe, and free of pathogens. All right?
No.
So let's talk about that. But let's go off and explore Mars. Watch how high I can jump. All right. So here we are at Mars. So we decided to all collectively come together here at Mars to talk about specific and non-specific immunity. So we wanted to do it at a couple trade shows we had planned on planet Earth, but it was too difficult because there was a virus and a pandemic and stuff. So we didn't. So here we are at Mars. So Sladimir over here created a special rocket ship for us.
Well,
We did it really fast, unlike SpaceX and these other guys.
Fake X.
Big X.
no problem. Very easy.
Fake X.
Easy for
Illusionary.
Russians.
It is. And thank you, Sladimir. Really appreciate that.
No problem.
Appreciate it. But we had to bring Kyle the stuntman with us too because, we just worry about, we don't know the terrain out here at Mars. There's a lot of dangerous things, and you need a professional stuntman such as Kyle Pasek in order to navigate such things. And Kyle's here to do just that. So that's why Kyle's here. If I may introduce to you Mr. Jade Bueller. So Jade's a famous influencer in our industry. He's a master in nutrition and science and a specialist. He's actually an author for a book on both specific, non-specific immunity, innate immunity, and non-innate immunity. We have the famous flat earther, Tallulah Moonstar. So Tallulah, he has proof that the Earth is flat and not round, and it's supported by many people out there in social media. And we're here. I don't know what you have to say about what's going on right now, but Tallulah, I see the Earth and it kind of looks round to me.
No.
Hey, look at it, it's right there.
No, very
Look.
round.
That's there's a lot of illusionary things going on here, including the cytoplasms of light and things like that.
Fake curvature.
No.
Fake curvature of the it's not, you have to actually be a lot closer to understand how exactly what it looks like. But I don't know about that, but I know that there's liposomes and micelles going around. So yeah.
All right. So, all right. Interesting theory. So what you're saying is like basically Earth, it looks round, but it's not.
It
It's
doesn't
actually,
look round.
Well,
It
it's a
doesn't.
circle.
I'll give you that.
So it
It's
looks like a
circle, yeah.
dish.
Dish.
So we're looking at a dish.
Yeah.
So it's a flat dish.
Yeah, it's a flat
Flat
dish.
dish.
That's sideways right now.
Oh, I see.
No.
It's like a petri dish.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah.
You live your head is round, like planet round. You don't have flat head. It's impossible for it to have flat Earth. It's round, like when you do bubble, like I say. You do bubble, planet, everything. You do piercing ball, you see millions of round bubbles. Don't see flat bubbles.
Well, now that sounds science.
Yeah, you nailed it right there.
How do you argue with that?
That's the
So
experience.
it sounds like Sladimir's explaining what a micelle and a liposome is. And if anybody knows more about liposomes, micelles, it's myself, Shervine, and Jay Bueller. So, Shervine, I know you have a lot of experience because you own a dietary supplement company and you're the founder of a company called Symbiotica, and you produce products that are micellized and liposomal. So I understand both micelles and liposomes help improve the bioavailability of certain compounds. Could you please elaborate on that for me, please?
Yeah, I'd like to look at Symbiotica as a lifestyle and as a movement. And with that movement, you know, we want to bring nutrition out to the collective. Our nutrition has been robbed from us. Our soil is depleted. It's shot. The hydrological cycle's shot.
True.
Farmers have no idea what they're doing anymore. They've been given the empty check from the government. So we're in a situation where people's guts, minds, hearts are not in unison with the environment. And so with Symbiotica, we wanted to produce formulations, an alchemy, if you will, and make them food-based products. We're not designed to be having powders, tablets, and pills. And they say that old thing, you know, you are what you eat. More importantly, you are what you can absorb. And the way I look at micelles and liposomes is we're taking nutrition and we're covering them with a phospholipid. So as soon as they enter the mouth, they enter the gut, the pH of the mouth, the pH of the gut does not destroy it. It makes its way into the lower gut, into the intestinal tract, and as you like to say, passes the brush-border barrier fully intact.
I love
just
to
the way,
say that.
Just the way Mother Nature,
I love saying brush border membrane.
epithelial layer, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're doing with Symbiotica, and it's an exciting time to be alive.
It is. So you're one of the few products out there that actually do something that's called micellized liposomal. It's actually taking a liposome and modifying the liposome, so it's even better than liposomal delivery. And I don't know any other company doing modified liposomal delivery other than you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. So here we are on planet Mars to talk about immunity, and we're very fortunate to have a Russian scientist, Sladimir. Kyle Stuntman, in case like Martians come. You saw Bubble Bobby here. That was like a tenacious Martian that came and tried to destroy us last time we were here. And Bubble Bobby was able to remove that Martian and put him somewhere else so he doesn't bother us anymore. But he left us and abandoned this baby Martian. So Bubble Body's been taking care of this Martian. But we don't know when the Martians are going to come back, and that's why Kyle's here.
We're ready.
To help protect us from the evil Martians.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
Kyle's the man.
I feel safer.
Thank you. I do too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
for sure.
Good for you.
He's centered, rooted to the
here.
earth.
Yeah, and Tulula, I'm still not sure. So I have another question for you. So
Yeah, go ahead.
Earth is a circle. It's a dish plate. It's not really round.
Right.
But we're on Mars right now. And
Yeah.
so is Mars flat?
Yeah, all planets are flat.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're welcome.
We might not be
Yeah,
on Mars.
no
we
sense
might
to
be in Greenland. You know, a lot of those Mars rover videos, it looked similar to Greenland. And
So are you saying that we're just faking us being on Mars? That we just
I mean, look.
have a strange green screen and this is all make-believe? Is that what you're saying?
well, it's just as good as 1969 production.
Of the moon landing? Yeah.
Stupid.
All right. Touche.
Stupid.
I've been on
But we know we're the real deal. We're actually on Mars.
This is true.
yeah.
Our
Yeah,
cameras
yeah,
are
yeah.
a lot better.
We've
I
all
may
been
shoot
on
myself.
Universal Studios
True.
Yeah.
rides, and they bump up
I
and
mean, look at
down
this.
like the spaceship,
I am
did.
lifting the dirt from Mars.
Oh.
Look at it.
Whoa.
I mean, are you really though? Like,
The devil hater.
Of course he is.
Mr. Hoosier, look, I'm making Mars. I'm going to throw a Mars snowball at Peter. Uh-oh, he's going to protect you. Jervine is protecting you like
Oh,
a T-cell.
Right down
like
the
a
pipe.
killer
Right
immune
down the
cell.
pipe.
and it's out of there.
Good,
There goes
good.
COVID-19.
Nice.
Just straight off out of the atmosphere.
Wait, who brought
But I
that
thought
here?
COVID wasn't
Yes,
here.
sir.
Good for you.
I just can't with you.
I don't know. Someone brought
I
it,
just-
and now we just
At
removed
least
it.
it's out of here now.
So we're safe again.
So you say it's not what you eat, it's what you assimilate. You are what you assimilate.
Yeah, you are what you can absorb.
Yeah, so when they said to me, you are what you eat, it's actually you are what you assimilate and absorb.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And then
God.
eventually eliminate.
This makes sense to me. I'm Russian.
I hope we're not when we eliminate. That'd be terrible.
Got to get that lymph going.
Yeah, good.
Hey, on Mars, you know, so since there's no gravity here, because there's no ozone layer, then perhaps
But to
we
remind
can.
everybody, we have special ozone technology.
Just don't fart.
well,
Keep us down.
exactly.
Don't
And
fart in ozone.
that means our lymph systems are completely backed up. That means our lymph isn't moving because it's our heart that's pumping our blood and pushing nutrients and immunological substances. but our lymph needs movement. But if we're in a no atmospheric situation like this on Mars, then that means our lymph is stacking up and stagnation's occurring. I can feel it already.
Ugh.
Accumulation to the
I'm
core.
gonna explode.
This is not good.
In fact, the liposomes in my cells are used internally within the body biologically to bring antibodies to the surface of the skin.
Absolutely.
That's why we have zits and acne.
Correct. And BO and all these other nasty, foul
Speak for yourself.
human
Not
existence.
yet. I don't
alchemy.
use antiperspirant often, but I chose to do it today.
But when you
We
do-
created a
Because I was in
liposomal.
Mars.
We created a liposomal charcoal product
Oh.
you did,
that
really?
could save us on Mars. Somebody throw us the
Someone.
liposomal activated charcoal, which is
there someone in
sequestered
the
carbon.
spaceship, the rocket ship?
Yeah,
Is that
there's
for
somebody in the
is that for BO?
command?
That's for BO. It's for
Make it
exploding.
snow.
It's for gas. It's for
Activated,
heavy
charcoal.
metals.
Quick
Liposomal.
sticks.
Charcoal
While we're
doesn't
waiting for
absorb;
that-
it adsorbs.
Mr. Pasek, could you
Yeah.
please get me a Modelo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would
Boom!
anybody else like a beer?
we got here.
There it
Like
is.
Yeah, I'm
vodka.
okay.
Vodka for me. Good for me.
Vodka?
There you
Yeah,
go.
drink.
Vladimir
Liposomal
only
activated
drinks vodka.
charcoal.
Only vodka. Vodka good for your heart. Good
So
for
you
everything.
drink this.
We clean
Yeah.
window
Beer?
with vodka.
Beer? Anybody else? Beer?
Look,
Beer?
don't even quiver. Look,
Cheers, Vladimir.
down the George. Go down, George.
And what is
Mm.
and so charcoal.
Charcoal's an adsorber,
Strong like
meaning it's
vodka.
packed negative ions.
like immune
It's
system,
got
strong.
such a
You
crazy
drink this,
surface
good for
area
you.
that it
for
attracts
you.
positive energies.
But
Positive
the
energy
truth
in your
is,
body is not
alcohol
good.
actually
So, like, anything that's got more
enables your immune
protons
system.
than
Does it?
electrons is usually a
Actually
free
makes your immune
radical,
system
or
more
it's a mold
susceptible to
toxicity,
pathogens,
or
right?
Heavy
anything.
metal.
I
Heavy
don't
metal.
want to
Oh,
say
listen.
that we're trying to
So
Listen.
A few moments later,
being
that
contradictory,
takes it
but
and
anyway.
pulls it out of the
2 hours later,
incredible. I mean, we're
on Mars,
carbon-based
we're
life
celebrating
form.
1 eternity later.
and vodka and tequila.
How often?
Anyway, let's get back
Every day.
into
Charcoal's
immunity.
every
We'll
day.
talk about that. So
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Nice
want
number.
to discuss immunity, and so I have here Jade Butler, and Jade's an author of a peer-reviewed book that was that explains immunity and talks about like our innate immunity, our non-specific, our specific. So what exactly is our? I want to explain a little bit about our immune system
Yep.
and what specific and non-specific immunity means.
Essentially, our immune system is protecting us against what we call our pathogens, right? So what's a pathogen? It's a bacteria, it's a virus, it's a fungus. There's things that can get inside our body that are too small to see that can infect us, right?
Yeah, and that's your innate immunity helps you
That's-
to prevent that absorption of those
Yeah.
things.
It's kind of early detection, later detection, right? And the point is, one of the points I like to make, by the way, is that we have more bacteria in our bodies than we do cells in our bodies, right?
Mm.
So bacteria is not necessarily bad, right? So there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. Just like there's good people and there's bad people, right? Doesn't matter what color you are, some are good and some are bad.
And some people believe the Earth is flat, and some people
some
believe it's
people
round.
don't, and that's okay.
Some people are wrong, and some people are right.
That's right. So as
Some
far as
people
the
are
immune
Russians, some people are
system,
Americans.
very, very important that our immune system protects ourselves against the outside environment. And there's all kinds of different theories as to whether we should immunize, should we immunize, should we not immunize. We won't go down that path right now. First and foremost, your innate immune system. You have, think of the armed forces. Think of the Navy, think of the Marines, think of the Army. Think of these different branches of the armed forces. We have different branches within our immune system, right? So the very, very basic immune system are these natural killer cells. Think about that. They're like green berets. And they're roaming your body all the time. You know,
Oh.
maybe they've got an M16 or a can or whatever they've got. They're roaming your body. Those are called your natural killer cells. Even has a cool name, right? They're in our body right now, protecting
So what's
us.
examples of natural killer? You have T cells.
No, natural killer cells are non-specific.
Okay, non-specific.
Non-specific natural killer cells.
Okay.
And then you have what are called macrophages. These things are huge macromolecules. They're the garbage collectors of the body. They go around the body looking for waste and engulfing waste.
Mm.
Fun fact.
I always take I'm sorry to interject,
Yeah.
but I use this example like when we were talking about stuff like earlier. But the movie Matrix, where you have like that one scene where they're going around, you have the they're all in their spaceship and they're trying to look out and try to find the rebellious people, the rebellion, and they're all sitting there and they turn the lights off because they don't want to be found by those natural killer cells. So they're trying to be incognito in some ways. But anyway,
They hide behind things.
The whole point is like, moderation, balance things, meditate, reduce stress. It's another way of reducing, improving your immunity and stuff like that through stress relief or put dietary supplements, supplementation, exercise, healthy eating. So Vladimir, like, what do you do? So you brought up balancing your stress and things like that to improve immunity. Like, what do you do to help reduce stress in your life? You're a famous scientist. I mean, you invented this rocket ship that got us here.
Very simple, but
this aura, things like that. It's like stressful. It's probably very stressful.
I say every now and then, you need to zen. Zen every now and then. That's why we're strong.
And vodka helps you sleep.
Strong. Vodka good for everything.
Yeah.
But we can remediate alcohol.
But you're right.
Yep.
Alcohol. There's things that we can use that help substitute alcohol
Milk
that give
thistle.
an effect that we're looking for, or
Charcoal,
CBD,
methylcobalamin.
methylcobalamin.
Yeah, that's great
CBD,
detox for the
B12.
liver.
B12 provides
Methylcobalamin.
energy,
What's
and when it's
methylcobalamin?
liposomal or
It's the most
micellized, it helps
bioavailable form of
deliver
B12.
B12 in the blood, similar to an injection.
Oh.
So it has a very good effect in that sense.
That particular bottle is used by 3 of the top athletes in the world in their respective sport. One of them is Novak Djokovic, as you know.
Really?
Another one
Wow.
is Anthony Joshua. And we have some pretty famous European.
I do know that because we played tennis last week. And, I lost.
They're using that exact product right there.
I tried. It's my backhand.
Name dropping.
I got to work on that. It's just-
Name dropping. Yeah.
Anyway, with Jeremy, we're talking about like dietary supplements and things, right?
Yep.
And we just gave some examples of B12. Talked about CBD. Talked about CoQ10.
D3, which governs 3,000 modulators of immune
D3,
system.
K2.
K2.
So does CBD go into the nucleus, right? And kill from nucleus?
It actually goes on the edge of the cell, on the outside, where we know is the brain of the cell. It's interesting. We always thought the brain was on the inside of the cell. We now know that proteins are communicating through the outside of the
So
cell.
the CBD go into the nucleus, right?
It goes in,
Inside,
it eventually gets in there.
and then they heal everything and everything outside.
Well, it creates something called cell retrograde, which allows your innate immune system to modulate back to homeostasis. So if you get a
Ooh.
fever, your body's immune system turns the heat on to kill
Homeostasis.
off a bacteria or anything like that. CBD helps that system to go back to balance. So you don't get
Like-
autoimmune issues, which is runaway inflammation. Interesting enough, inflammation is really good for us.
I've always thought that. I've never iced my ankle if I
You should
sprained it.
never ice it unless it's getting to a point where you feel like there's something going to tear.
It's a
Yes.
it's a natural process that your body goes through
Absolutely.
to splint the injury.
Yep.
And then bring more blood flow to heal.
Very genius by the flat earth guy. We use a
As an
topical.
anti-inflammatory.
We have a topical that has DMSO in it, dimethyl sulfoxide, and it was, it's a controversial substance, but we went for it. We have 8 powerful ingredients, including capsicum and CBD and boswellia and ginger and zextine magnesium. But with the DMSO, it pushes everything on the surface of the skin into the body, so we can create stimulation and growth factors. And with what he's saying about immobilizing the area, that's super key.
So you go on social media and you're reading stuff. I read one thing. This lady's talking about how she heard about this other guy talking about how he suggests that you need to drink 30 liters of water a day in order to help improve your immune system.
Yeah.
And it removes coronavirus. And he was saying,
Probably thinks the earth
he
is
sent me his
round.
video or something. It was crazy. It was like,
Ball.
and the guy's like, yeah, so I found a way that you can completely rid yourself of coronavirus if you drink 30 liters of water a day. Like, you drink 30 liters of water a day, I think you might die.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Get this. So I found this person said on social media that to get rid of coronavirus, if you go outside without sunblock this person suggested that you go outside when it's really sunny and hot, Arizona, whatever, and you lay out, you take all your clothes off, and you just lay there naked, and you let the sun sunburn you, and that will kill coronavirus. So
Visual
here
aid
you
right
are.
here.
I think what he was trying to say is that the sun
I get the vitamin D and all that stuff.
charges
Yeah,
our
but
immune system,
that's
but
not.
that's a very irresponsible way of doing it, especially
Yeah.
in the summer months in Arizona.
And that's going to lead into my next topic.
Okay.
So you bring, because you're educated, you're smart, and you develop products that are geared toward the specific thing that we need to make you healthy
Yes.
and protect yourself. Which, great. Vitamin D. We know that helps with immunity and things. I believe that helps your non-innate with your non-specific. So vitamin D is very good for you, and it helps immunity and things. But people don't understand. They advertise things as if like you sunburn and you get a sunburn, and then that improves your immunity. It's ridiculous.
The supplement industry is like the Wild West. I mean, we all have a problem with the pharmaceutical industries. We know the tyranny behind all that. We get that. But the supplement industry, I think, is almost as bad in a way, because there's so many people that are racing to the bottom. You know, being what you do in the CBD industry, for example. Everybody in every industry, someone who was selling cars, someone who was brokering loans, all of a sudden is a CBD expert. And what that causes is a race to the bottom. And that race to the bottom gives you inferior products that are not developed with care, with intention, with love, and use discernment. Don't judge, use discernment. What does discernment mean? It means that you've taken all the information and you've decided yourself what makes sense to you.
Too confusing for people. Don't know what. Make simple.
Vitamin C. I can take a bunch of vitamin C powder or capsules, and then now I don't get COVID. And some people are actually getting warning letters from the FTC, from the FDA, and they're saying like, hey, you guys got to stop talking about how when you take your product, your vitamin C or your whatever, like you won't get coronavirus. Like people got to stop saying that stuff and talk about the science on their websites. You're promoting your product, talk about what it does, reference it with clinical studies, things like that, and then move on. And that's it. And taking a capsule or a tablet that's vitamin C has been shown to not absorb as good as it does when it's come from food. And same with vitamin D. Vitamin D is a fat. It's non-polar.
It's fat soluble.
It doesn't absorb. So if you take like vitamin D, and it's not just vitamin D, it's vitamin D, CoQ10, vitamin A,
Vitamin
D,
K.
E. There's all these things: carotenoids, astaxanthin, beta carotene, lutein, lycopene. All these things do not absorb into water. If they don't absorb into water, how do they absorb in your body?
Yeah.
You're like Kyle. Did you know? So you're a famous stuntman, right?
Yeah.
And you're out there doing flips and jumping over cars
Yeah.
and picking up people and throwing them 100 feet and doing karate. You're a black belt, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you
No belt today, but
Oh yeah, you got a black shirt,
yeah,
black
it's
glasses.
true. Yeah.
So you're a black belt, but you know how to do these things. So you would want to know, like, what supplements do I take to help not only perform better when I'm doing a stunt or
Right.
I'm doing a theatrical scene in a movie or something like that, but also what do I take when I'm done to reduce inflammation?
Yes.
And more importantly, what do I supplement and eat and the things I can do to help improve my immune system?
Yeah. I think it's definitely before, during, and after.
It is, yeah. Like pre, during, and post.
Right. Yep.
And all of this like interacts with our immune system too. So we want to make sure we understand. Anyway, so here's the thing. So you have three criteria. You have the delivery. How are we delivering this stuff into our body? So that's very important because you have capsules, tablets, and liquids and all this stuff. And then you have different things. You have vitamin A. So let's talk about immune system in particular. You have vitamin A, D, E, vitamin K. You have carotenoids, astaxanthin being the number one, the super carotenoid. You have DHA omega-3. You have CBD, which actually helps through the endocannabinoid system. It helps with immunity. And then you have
We have curcuminoids.
curcuminoids, and all this stuff. And how it
Different
interacts.
forms of traditional Chinese herbal medicines. You can go down the whole palette of that.
It is. And I always like to start Vladimir when I think of immunity, and I always think of like vitamin A, zinc, echinacea, elderberry,
Ginger, garlic.
ginger, garlic. Okay,
Garlic's
ginger,
good.
garlic. Interesting.
Yeah, good for immune system.
Ginger's
Russian, we have lots of garlic, like Italian.
So do you add ginger? Has some components in it. They're called gingerols that are oil soluble, and actually they dissolve very well in vodka. So
Rudolf Steiner said this 100 years ago. He said that we're going to be hitting the Ahrimanic influence, which is the impulse of materialism. When the Industrial Revolution happened, everything changed in our guts, our minds, our hearts, our innate ability to defend ourselves. We've extracted ourselves from nature, and we've entered materialism in our body. We've actually gone both opposite directions across the board.
I agree.
And it's not a shocker why we're having debilitating diseases starting at age mid-30s. So the disease
6 years old.
span, 6 years old, the disease span, which should come later in life, is now coming a lot earlier.
Disease.
That's a David Sinclair, the Harvard guy who's big on NAD and big on metformin and all that other stuff. That's his whole thing, is that we have a health span and a disease span. So the sooner we can prevent disease, the longer and healthier we can live. And I always get, hey, Shervin, are you trying to live to 1,000 years old? And I'm like, no, but I want to live young, healthy, happy, at full potential.
Hey,
as
you
long
want
as
to
possible.
enjoy
I wanna
the time
enjoy
that you
this.
are alive.
Yeah, I don't want to be in
I mean, you
pain.
can't change your DNA.
Yeah.
If your DNA is saying that you're going to have this certain lifespan, how
Right.
can you change that? It
Well,
doesn't
we
matter
know
what
we
you
know
supplement with.
epigenetics is all environmental now. We know that you turn the switch on through your thoughts, through the environment, through the food, through the people around you. So
Yeah.
we can govern those things. Epigenetics proves that. Epi means above the genetic profile. And vitamin D, for example, that governs over 3,000 genes when it comes to our immune system. It's amazing stuff.
And vitamin D actually has been shown to modulate innate immunity and your adaptive immune system
Yeah.
response.
So it makes sense, right?
So here
Sunlight.
it is. Sunlight, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
here we
so
are.
is-
If you look at the
Is
highlighted
Phillips
section.
showing that?
I mean, these are peer-reviewed published studies showing that vitamin D actually helps innate immunity. It's like, again, it's that
It governs it.
it is that
governs
first
it.
response
Yeah.
to maintain foreign pathogens and matter from absorbing
What were
into
you
your
gonna
immune
say,
system.
If you think about this, right? So vitamin D is one of my favorites. Why? You don't need a lot of it, right? And by the way, how do you get some vitamin D? You step outside and you get a little bit of sunshine. Not too much, not like the crazy person in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
But think about vitamin D. We're talking about IUs, international units. These are very, very small dosages. The trick is
Or
vitamin D is fat soluble. We want it to get inside of every single one of our cells and protect us, right?
Yeah.
Think about this. Back in the day, if you think about the whole coronavirus and what's gone on, and I haven't been in agreement with everything. One of them being close down public parks and state beaches and these types of things. People are smart enough to keep their distance. We need nature. We need to ground to the earth. We need the ions from the ocean. We need the vitamin D from the sun.
That's
Number
true.
one, right? What did they used to do in hospitals of old? Has anybody ever heard of a solarium?
I have.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What did they used to do with hospital patients? They used to wheel them into the sun. And what would happen? They would get better.
Yep.
Naturally. Why would they get better?
Yep.
They didn't know. They said, God, this feels good to sit in the sun.
Stimulate
Right?
the immune system.
That's vitamin D. So what have we done? We've put people in their houses. We've cocooned them in there. Again, one of the common denominators of people with COVID and people without COVID that have gotten it and those that haven't is vitamin D deficiency.
Yep.
Okay, so we're not saying here that these nutritional supplements cure or treat anything.
You're
The
finding
secret-
you're finding the common denominator with
Right.
what are the things that allow people to become ill
Right.
from pathogens and things,
right?
or sickness in general. And there's a link between sickness and your immune system and certain levels of certain chemical compounds found in blood plasma.
Right.
And vitamin D is one of those.
What if we think about it, right? And what I always like to do is to say, okay, well, we're generally young. I say generally because I'm 57 now, right? We're generally young and we're generally healthy. But what's the difference between somebody that has a powerful, strong, vibrant immune system and somebody that doesn't, right? Because we may or may not need what we've got here. Now, guess what? I'm going to take it anyway.
Yeah. Let me interject. So, Tallulah, you are 83 years old, right? What is your secret to looking as young as you do?
83.
Absolutely, supplementation on
That's
foundation. I would say exercise for sure, definitely. And then also just believing in general that the earth is flat helps a lot.
Oh, I think
Vega.
I need more
Yeah,
water.
Vega.
Yep. So, in addition to, I love your
Vitamin D
explanation.
on the rise as well. You take vitamin D earlier in the day because it mimics sun exposure. It's very important.
Absolutely
Go
right.
with the whims of nature, and that's what supplementation is all about. That's what we're
That's
developing
interesting.
here. Yeah.
If you think about what Shervin just said, right? When do we ordinarily get vitamin D from the sun? When is the sun out?
Yep.
During the day.
Correct.
So you technically you want to take your vitamin D in
On
the
the
morning,
rise.
during the day.
Don't
Not at
take
night.
it while you're sleeping.
So I don't want to spend too much
Not a
time
good
on
Turns
this.
on melatonin production.
And I don't
People
want
who can't sleep realize
like-
they can't sleep because they're not getting in front of the sun
Yeah,
on the rise.
I understand.
tell
So-
That's why we have blue light at night.
Yeah, there's a lot about nature that assimilates with our own self and well-being.
We are nature.
Now, I have a-
This is why supplementation is
but
important.
supplementation's
This is why
important.
supplementation is
But
important.
just like vitamin D, vitamin E, same thing.
Mhm.
It could be even argumentatively even more important.
Really?
The reason being is
Hey,
no one talks about vitamin E, immunity, and the deficiency of vitamin E and
Yep.
tocopherol
Yep.
and tocotrienols in the elderly.
Yep.
So here's a study.
Tocos are a staple in our diet.
What's that?
Tocotrienols are a staple in our
They are.
diet.
And you have different
Absolutely.
forms of tocopherol. You have
Yeah.
people take D-alpha tocopherol, but it's not enough. You have gamma, delta, you have tocotrienols, you have different spectrums of it.
I like
if you look at
gamma.
this study, suggests that vitamin E is an important nutrient for maintaining the immune system, especially in the aged. So again, look in the yellow bracket.
Hmm.
And again,
I'm gonna drink a
peer-reviewed
beer.
clinical study showing this. So vitamin D, vitamin E, very important nutrients that the elderly should have. And, I don't know. Sladimir, you're not in the sun a lot because you're in Russia.
We have to have light therapy sometime.
But you eat a lot of, like in Russia, you probably have a lot of mushrooms. No?
Potatoes, vodka.
Yeah.
Sometimes mushroom. Yeah,
Because
it's
mushrooms are.
it's just good for you. Some people, new young people eat mushroom, but me, I eat potatoes.
So we produce a product.
Dysbiosis
So
of the gut.
we have a technology. So we're getting into delivery systems now, right?
Okay, yeah.
So Shervin utilizes liposomes and micelles, and those are used to deliver fats and absorb fats in the body, and it treats them as if they're water-absorbed substances.
Like they're still food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
intact.
liposome, that's right. And liposomes are our nature's way of delivering DHA omega-3 from fish, astaxanthin from algae, or beta-carotene in the form of carrots and things like that. So not much fat in carrots, is there?
No.
No. Anyway. So we have patented technologies where we take proteins and peptides and bind them to a 28 amino acid protein called lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is one of the only proteins that bypass stomach degradation, and they can bind to glutathione, protect it, and deliver it to the gut. We also put it in delivery mechanisms where there's no water. It's just lactoferrin, the glutathione, you emulsify it, and it's got a nice emulsion, like as if it's liquid, but it's not. It's a lactoferrin-bound glutathione that's in a liposome without water, so it does not taste like sulfur, it does not taste like rotten eggs, and the glutathione remains intact. Unlike glutathione in the presence of water, like other liposomals out there, they're not stable. And that's the point I want to make. So liposomes, micelles, delivering vitamin A, D, E, vitamin K2, CoQ10, curcumin. All this stuff needs liposomes, micelles. Proteins, peptides, you need to bind it, and you don't want water in there. So lactoferrin works really well for that. Shervin is doing a product that combines all those things. It's lactoferrin-bound glutathione, but it also contains PQQ, which works synergistically with CoQ10 and
Correct.
provides energy to cells along with CoQ10.
Very good nootropic.
Very good nootropic, mitochondrial biogenesis,
synapses, all of it. Yep.
Yeah, neutropathy. It creates like a great feeling of euphoria, and it's a great replacement for alcohol. Provides energy to cells,
3 to 4.
muscle energy. It helps build muscle biosynthesis.
We're not done.
Great product, and it helps with immunity. So a lot of foods high in protein contain high levels of cysteine, and cysteine is one of the main constituents to increase levels of glutathione in the body. Vitamin E, we talk about supplementing vitamin E. It's important to have a healthy diet. It can also increase these levels of vitamin E, such as sunflower seeds, almonds, spinach, olive oil, even shrimp, butternut squash, trout, broccoli. Vitamin K, we talk about vitamin K. That's found in fish, liver, meat, eggs, Brussels sprouts, as Sherby mentioned, broccoli, cauliflower. And so the different things that help with immunity we discussed are vitamin A, D, E, K, K2, CoQ10. We talked about glutathione, lactoferrin, delivery systems, liposomes, micelles. We also talked about exercise and its effect on immunity. And then we talked about the foods you eat that can help increase immunity that coexist with supplementation.
Philip, why don't we end it on the product that's right behind you, the B12, which I think is a revolutionary product, which has methylcobalamin, adenosylcobalamin, L-methylfolate, fulvic minerals. That's a legendary product. That's never been done before. And it's in micelle. That helps everyone across the board, teenagers, adults, mothers, children. We know about the MTHFR gene mutation, which is methylation tetrahydrofolate reductase enzyme. If you have a variance of that, there's many different variances, then you're not properly methylating. So you can do all the detoxing you want, but if your body's innate ability to methylate, which is its ability to decide which cell to clean, which one to kill off through apoptosis, is impaired, then you're getting cognitive issues. You're getting, what they call autism or on the spectrum symptoms, when the whole time your child isn't properly methylating.
Well, I think you have a great product line, and especially in today's society, with increase in contaminants and pathogens and poor diet and things like that and stress, I think your products kind of fit what we need as a society. And the fact that you incorporate the delivery systems in there and things like that is important.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't need it here on Mars. I mean, we're pretty safe here. We have tequila, bourbon, whatever. I mean, you don't drink and stuff. I get that, but just having these things is great. So we don't have to worry about as much.
I do other things.
We're talking about when you're all of you people on planet Earth. You got to worry about this stuff. It's important. Listen to Sherby. Listen to Tallulah on your flat Earth dish that you live on.
On your cosmology.
Yep. Kyle, he's here to represent your natural killer cells, right, Jade?
That's right.
Kyle's here to
First line of defense.
beat the shit out of all the crap that's in your body to help your immune system function better. And all this would not have been made possible if it was not for Sladimir, our Russian scientist, who has 18 PhDs.
19.
It's 19. Actually.
90?
19 now.
But who's counting?
19.
Yeah.
19
counting?
PhDs.
Russia was good for everything.
Yep.
First to go to moon, not first man, but first to go to moon Russian.
Sputnik.
Yes, we're very smart
It is.
Russian people.
Very smart.
Don't underestimate Russian.
I'll never forget you when we were passing all the astronauts at the space station from SpaceX.
That's all fake nonsense.
Fake
It was.
astronauts.
Stanley
No, it's
Kubrick.
true, it's
He
true,
did the whole
it's
thing.
true.
Yeah.
We really did it. We're really,
We-
and we
we're
went
here.
past that. We're here in Mars. Look, it's there.
Putin, he called me, he said, congratulations, you go to Mars. Good for
Yep.
He said to me, make sure first foot on Mars, but you are for the, now I'm probably going to die. You know? Putin like Trump, you know, you just don't argue. You just say yes. You say yes. That's right. Same, but different.
Soviet Union.
Just say yes.
Russia.
That's their slogan. Just say yes.
Just say yes. Yes, very easy, much simple. But good for you. I like your product. Much good for busy life, for simple man like me. And I need to supplement because, you know, food change shit.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have a supplement. Good for you.
You got to keep your immune system strong for when you enter a rocket ship and you go to Mars.
Yeah.
Build up your immune system. Good for you. Resist anything.
Fly past.
Even your wife.
All right, guys. You ready to sign off? Let's go home.
We are ready for questions and answers. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And I am going to fly by really quick and ask us all questions. We'll answer your questions.
Hello, everybody. Well, we're back here on planet Earth, at least physically. Mentally, I'm still in Mars. So,
O3 omega swarms, 400 milligrams DHA, 3,000 milligrams. That's not supposed to be fine. Coconuts. So I'm here to talk about O3.
All right. So this is very fresh for us. I also have Jade Bueller with us. How you doing, Jade?
Hey, Philip, doing great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So, so you're doing good. Acclimated back to Earth.
I have, yes. Thank you very much. You can see my Vectra gym here in the background. So that's allowed me to regain the muscle mass I lost while being in zero gravity.
Yeah, I know. I came back. The first thing I did was go to In-N-Out Burger. So it was brutal, especially with that baby, Bubble Bobby's baby.
You're right.
But if it wasn't for Kyle to save us all, I don't know what else we would have done. But anyway, we're here, and I know I have a few questions from people. Jay, maybe you can help me out too. One question I had was vitamin E and immunity, and they were asking like, what is it about vitamin E and tocopherol that helps with immunity? I think vitamin E is one of those vitamins and compounds that people overlook for immunity. Everybody thinks of like vitamin C, vitamin D. I hear vitamin A, echinacea, zinc, stuff like that. And vitamin E kind of gets overlooked. But what's interesting about vitamin E, especially with like what's going on with COVID-19, is they find a direct correlation between older people and having declined levels of tocopherol, similar to vitamin D. Right. But tocopherol is an essential lipid. And without tocopherol, your whole immune system is pretty much shot. So, and the thing about tocopherol too is a lot of people take alpha tocopherol. They don't know that there's full spectrum tocopherol. You have to have gamma, delta, alpha, and beta tocopherol. And then also taking tocopherols do somewhat antagonize the effects of so if you have too much alpha tocopherol, then that will antagonize the effects and dismodulate all the other tocopherols that are necessary for function. So taking the full spectrum tocopherols, but also combining it with tocotrienols is very important. And you also have 4 full spectrum tocotrienols as well. And Jay, there's a question here on natural killer cells. I know you have a lot of
education behind immunity and things like that. And the question was specific toward you talking about macrophages, and I was wondering if you could, and natural killer cells. I wonder if you can the question is specific toward, is that part of your innate immunity? And maybe you can explain that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So with the immune system, you have really two branches, if you will. And then as I was explaining, it's kind of like the military. You have the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, the Green Berets. So the innate immunity is really our initial immune response, right? So this is when you have an initial infection, whether it be a virus, a bacteria, a cold, a yeast, a bacteria, whatever it might be, that has entered your body. Our immune systems are simply amazing. So essentially what they do is we have these Green Berets, these natural killer cells that are roaming our body, and they're our first line of defense, right? They don't care who you are or what you are. If you're foreign to the body, their job is to destroy you, right? So the natural killer cells both do that. And then the macrophages. The macrophages are the most ancient immune cells, and they're called macro because they're very large cells, and they just look like these amorphous blobs. We've all heard of the disinfectant Lysol. That's exactly right. So essentially a macrophage will engulf a virus, bacteria, doesn't matter, and it will lyse it. That's where the term comes from. It literally dissolves it. You can look up YouTube with macrophages underneath a slide in a microscope, engulfing bacteria and just simply vaporizing them. It's absolutely amazing. So that's our really first, our innate immunity is our first step in the immune system. And then ultimately there's an immune cascade. And these cells are all messengers, like Paul Revere, if you will, right? Paul Revere riding through the British are coming, the British are coming. So the corona is coming, right? And then ultimately we kick in our own soldiers. That's called our acquired immunity, and acquired immunity is very important. So I won't wax on. I will go ahead and.
I actually, what's interesting, because you were talking about killer cells and natural killer cell activity and innate immunity, specific, non-specific. So there's another question here regarding astaxanthin, just like the tocopherol. So what is it about astaxanthin, how it correlates with, and Frank, I see your question too. What is it about astaxanthin that helps correlate with immunity? And we didn't talk about it much in our webinar, if that's what you want to call it, more of a podcast. But astaxanthin, so this, again, kind of corroborates with what Jay was just talking about, natural killer cells. Dietary astaxanthin stimulates mitogen-induced hypoproliferation, increased natural killer cell cytotoxic activity, and increased total T and B cell subpopulations. So astaxanthin promotes exactly what it is that Jade was talking about. I actually didn't know that myself until I was working on this webinar and trying to find peer-reviewed research studies on stuff. We have a question here from Frank. He's asking about thoughts on MK4 and MK7. I'm not big expert in MK4 and MK7. Shoot, I wish Amar gave me that sample. Anyway, one thing I can tell you about, one thing I do know is, which one's more expensive, Peter?
It's expensive.
No, which one? MK4, MK7.
Oh, MK7
is more expensive.
Way more expensive.
So not that that matters, but MK7 is extremely expensive, and for whatever reason, MK4 is just really cheap. So none of that has any significance. But one thing I know about vitamin K and some of the studies I've done with vitamin K1 is that vitamin K1 and K2 also modulate immunity. So if you're taking vitamin K2 and you're not taking vitamin K1, you can actually produce, have an autoimmune, hyper autoimmune system. So it's important to modulate and balance that out with K1 and K2. MK4, MK7, most of the studies I've seen was through working with NATO Pharma and their MiniQ7. And it's my belief that MiniQ7 and MK7 has more peer-reviewed published data supporting MK7. But look, as long as you have like 200 micrograms of MK7 per serving, and someone wants to throw MK4 in there, I don't think it hurts. So as long as it's not at the upper tolerance dose. But again, just to reiterate, I think adding vitamin K1 to modulate K2's effects, so you don't have hyper overproduction of immunity with the T cell production, all this other stuff. Anyway, any thoughts on MK4, MK7, Jade? If you wanted to contribute, you might know more about that stuff than I do.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Philip. There's a few minor aspects I could add, but at the sake of holding everybody up, I think that would be great. I think, really, if you look at much of the work that VIRUN does, right, by way of example, because I think VIRUN's exceptional, is that we're combining at VIRUN water-soluble and non-water-soluble compounds. So the fat-soluble compounds like vitamin E, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin A are really, really important because health begins at the cellular level. So the stronger we can make that cellular wall with whether they be antioxidant compounds like vitamin D, vitamin C, which of course is water soluble, yet we have technologies at VIRUN to help that sustain in your body, can be very, very powerful. The key, I think, to immunity is really keeping healthy cellular membranes, and that starts with fat soluble vitamins, minerals, and nutrients to bolster those immune cells in every cell.
No, that's good. And I kind of, speaking of cells, Jade, there's another question here about CoQ10 and immune function. We got a lot of questions about like ingredients in there. I think again, a lot of people think when they think of immunity, they think of like vitamin D, zinc, and echinacea and things like that. Think of emergency or whatever. But so I'm getting a lot of questions about ingredients that I don't think people associate with immunity. So here's one on CoQ10. What is about CoQ10 that helps improve immunity or helps support immune system? From research I've read, I don't know specifically what CoQ10 does that actually helps your immune system, but I think, as Jade put it, a lot of things happen on the cellular level. And CoQ10 have many claims, published claims and approved claims regarding CoQ10's ability to produce energy at the cellular level. So ATP energy. It helps promote energy to build cells. It helps promote energy to help with mitochondrial cells. And I know Symbiotica has a product, Chervine. They manufacture a bunch of stuff, and they have a vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and CoQ10 combo. It's this product. I don't know if you can see it, but it's upside down. Now it's not. That was like us in landing at Mars. And that's micellized. So CoQ10 helps with promoting mitochondrial biogenesis, cellular energy proliferation. So if you can produce more cells, and obviously that's going to support both your non-specific and specific immune system. I mean, you think of like non-specific, so skin. Skin is part of your immune system. Your gut mucosa is part of your immune system. So these things all help prevent pathogens from absorbing and whatnot. And what's unique too is like when you're delivering CoQ10 and these types of ingredients, it's important to make sure that you're putting these things are non-polar. CoQ10, vitamin D, vitamin E. All these things do not absorb in water. So it's important to put these in a form that's more water soluble so that your body can absorb them, because your body is composed of water soluble lipids. So if you take something that's not water soluble, it's going to be bouncing it off your gut mucosa, kind of like a water slide, and it's just going to go straight through. So micellizing them helps make them, you hear the expression like dissolves like. So if you micelize them, then they bind to the gut mucosa and open up and stay there long enough for the CoQ10, the vitamin D, or whatever to absorb. Just a few examples of products we have. This is we didn't show it to you, but this is the activated charcoal that's micellized that Chervine was talking about. I think it's the first micellized form of charcoal. It was so hard reducing. I know Sherby was telling me they were trying to reduce the particle size without solvent of charcoal. It was very tough with the different carbon binding. There is another question on glutathione. I don't remember talking about glutathione, but so glutathione is very interesting. Glutathione is a tripeptide, and you talk about helping support innate immunity. I think glutathione is probably the strongest dietary supplement you can take to help support innate immunity. So glutathione, it not only supports innate immunity, but it actually helps regulate innate immunity. So what's interesting is so here's a claim I have on a peer-reviewed published journal that was published, I think it's like Internal Medicine, 2011. So reactive oxygen species and thiol antioxidants, including glutathione, regulate innate immunity at various levels. So this study actually talks about how it's specific toward respiratory. So it actually helps improve innate immunity specific for lung function and inflammation against specific infections. So glutathione is extremely effective toward supporting immune system, is very specific toward respiratory. We actually, I came across a product here. It's this product, and this is a liposomal glutathione. It has no water in it. There's a lot of products out there that use glutathione, and they call them liposomal glutathione products. And if it contains water, I don't know about you, if you take protein, or if you take a piece of chicken and you stick it in a container like this with water, and you let it sit there for about 6 months, that chicken's going to go bad, and it's going to be really bad. It'll probably kill you. Glutathione, it's because it's composed of proteins and it's a perishable product. Glutathione is no different. Glutathione is a protein, and it's a tripeptide. And if you put it in water, it's going to start degrading. Glutathione actually has disulfide bonds. So the disulfide bonds will break and produce sulfur gas. And you'll actually smell it. It'll taste like rotten eggs. It's really nasty. So if you ever had a liposomal glutathione and you tasted it and it tasted like rotten eggs, it's because it's probably not glutathione anymore. And this product's unique because it's in a syringe. There's 10 servings per syringe. And it actually is bound, the glutathione is bound to a 28 amino acid protein called lactoferrin. And the lactoferrin stabilizes the glutathione, but the lactoferrin actually helps the glutathione absorb into blood plasma because lactoferrin binds iron in the gut and delivers iron systemically, then recycles back out. So if you tag it with another protein, it will just follow that same mechanism. But just as important as the lactoferrin and the glutathione, there's no water in this. So it's important and it's unique. It comes out like a gel. And lactoferrin with the glutathione is good. It's not only a delivery and a stabilization mechanism, but the lactoferrin actually helps. It has claims toward immunity as well. Lactoferrin helps your body absorb iron. I got all these people like behind here. I'm blocking them. There's like a whole nother lab and facility over there I'm trying to hide. But yeah, it helps with immunity because it is the mechanism that allows your body to absorb iron. It's good to supplement iron. It's good for your immune system. But just as important, you need that mechanism that helps absorb iron into the body. So it's got all this stuff, and it's a great product. But whether it's this product or any glutathione, supplementing glutathione is very good for helping your innate immunity. It's helping your killer cells. It's helping actually attack pathogens and help not only locate them with T cell function, but dispose of them from your body. So it's very important. Obviously, vitamin C too. I know Chervine and Symbiotica, they have a MISO. We talked about modified liposomes, and modified liposomal vitamin C is good, especially in his system because it's buffered with potassium bicarbonate. But it lowers the particle size of the vitamin C, and it helps sustain that absorption of vitamin C over time, much like how you get vitamin C from food. And I can't speak for Symbiotica's vitamin C, but I know VIRUN actually produces a natural vitamin C through a fermentation enzymatic process that is the same process that allows oranges to produce vitamin C. We just follow that mechanism, create the actual fermentation enzymatic process. We do it in Europe, and it's very effective. Let me see, any other questions? I got a few more questions, but I don't want to take up anybody's time. Not that anybody cares. Depends on what state you're in, right? I know in California where everything's opening up, where people are going to restaurants. That's a weird thing, this whole COVID-19. So when it started, everybody thought they're going to die. Everybody's scared. And the first thing we all did was buy toilet paper. And then when we got over the toilet paper stuff, and you could buy toilet paper again at Costco and Amazon. Then it got worse. I don't know about everybody else, but here in California, LA and stuff, it got worse. And more people were dying. It was not about being scared to die. It's like, wow, I might die. I'm going to get this. And then what did everybody do? They all complained how they want to go to a restaurant. This is very bizarre. So much like all of you, I will never forget this time. My kids, I have 2 kids. I have my son, Drake, he's 11. My daughter's turning 15. That's scary. But to them, this is their NASA space shuttle blowing up in the 80s, as it was for me in 5th grade. But this is their big event. This is their 9/11. So it's interesting, and I just want to make sure and really express my appreciation for joining us today. And here at VIRUN, I wish I could see y'all. Anybody back there? Anyway, not going to bring anybody, but we all love you guys. Take care, and we hope to see you at trade shows once they open up. If anybody wants to schedule meetings here in Pomona, our new facility that we have, please email me. You're welcome to join us here, do a tour. We welcome that. And yeah, stay safe, everybody, and be good to each other. And peace out. Jade, thanks for joining me.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Take care, everybody.